grandmother told me that, come, I'll take you out and we'll buy you some chocolates.
I do remember I was around 6 or 7 years old and being taken to Bindi Bazaar. And I was wearing a dress that day because my dress was lifted. Something sharp, I know, cut me.
You hear so many different reasons. Most common, of course, is that it leads to too much promiscuity.
You are pinning her down, spreading her legs apart and, doing something that she's not even aware of.
People believe that they are doing it for religious reasons, but it's not in the Quran, it's not mentioned in the Quran.
Imagine being taken to a dark, decrepit building. Imagine being pinned down on the floor. Imagine your underwear being taken off. Imagine seeing a knife being heated on the gas stove. Imagine the hot knife slicing your clitoris. Imagine young girls shrieking in pain. The cruel practice of female genital cutting or female genital mutilation is not happening only in faraway Africa. It's not just being practiced in tribal societies. Young girls aged 6 and 7 are regularly being cut right here in India. Mumbai abounds with untrained midwives who continue to scar young girls from the Bohra community. For long, FGM or Khatna, as the Bohras call it, remained a well-kept secret, a taboo, a subject never to be discussed. But now some women, also victims at the hands of a Bohra tradition, have chosen to speak out. Here they are, speaking out on camera, perhaps for the first time, of how they were lured by their mums and grandmums only to be betrayed.
My grandmother told me that, come, I'll take you out and we'll buy you some chocolates and stuff. So I happily went with my grandmother, and she took me to Bohri Mohalla. That's where a cluster of Bohras stay in Bombay. And we went into this dark, decrepit building. And then we went into an inside room where the curtain was drawn. And she told me, lie down. And like an obedient child, I lay. And then my grandmother was holding me, holding my hands. And there was this other woman, an oldish kind of a woman. And she pulled my pants down. And I started crying. And my grandmother told me, don't worry, it's very quick. You'll just get over in a jiff. And that woman also told me, very quick it's going to happen. And she did something which was extremely painful. I shrieked in pain. I don't know what it was, but what I experienced was a sharp shooting pain. And then she put some black powder there. I just came home and I just cried and cried and cried. And there was a lot of pain which was there.
Arifa is a young, articulate journalist. Like most women in the approximately 2 million strong Bohra community, Arifa too was cut.
You hear so many different reasons from different women about why it's done. Most common, of course, is that this is unwanted skin because it is this, source of sin or this, the kind of pleasure that women shouldn't be having, or it leads to too much promiscuity. But there is no scientific basis to that.
It's steeped in patriarchy, and it's the belief that a woman's sexuality has to be curbed. And if you want fidelity and if you want the marriage as an institution to hold up, the woman has to be cut so that, she is not going to go astray.
The sad truth to this painful process is the fact that it is a practice being done to women by other women. Most women we spoke to initially blamed their mothers, till they realized they too were victims of the same mindless tradition.
Of course, the first target of my anger was my mother, because she took me. But I'm very clear now that it wasn't her fault as an individual, because this is a very systemic practice.
Some women deal with the childhood trauma by just blocking it out completely, psychologists told us. Zara Patwa, an America-based technology project manager, found out only when she was 44 years old.
When the video of my family member came out, after that was when they told me that it was done to me. So I was kind of in an emotional state. It is so traumatic for young girls and does not fit with our educated community. It seems like one of those things that we should just let go of and move on.
Shahida, a public health professional, was protected by her mother, a child rights lawyer based in Canada. She was lucky to escape being put under a knife, but is struggling to understand why her community betrays its daughters.
I'm not able to explain to myself why. It is quite contradictory. It's just so ingrained in culture, and therefore you just unquestioningly do it just so that you can be a part of the community. If you openly declare that, I didn't do this, so I'm not going to, I'm not going to do it to myself or my daughters, then the backlash could be considerable.
Insia Dariwala, a filmmaker and child rights activist, was also lucky to escape. Her mother put her foot down after her older daughter was taken to one of those dark, decrepit rooms by an aunt. But Insia still feels cut in so many different ways.
The fact that I had not been cut actually went against me too, because I was still cut off. Functions, certain ritualistic functions that happen with young girls. So these are things that I was never involved in.
Boston-based Maria Tahir is pursuing a career in social work and domestic violence because of her own personal experience. Would you say you're emotionally damaged?
No, not, but it did for many years. It's something I had to come to terms with. I think all of that has made me the person that I am.
Are you psychologically scarred?
Yes. Definitely. I never confronted myself with it also.
Female genital mutilation is recognized internationally as a violation of the human rights of girls and women, in addition to the threat it constitutes to their health and lives.
The United Nations has declared female genital mutilation a human rights violation, but there is no such ban in India. Young girls are still being taken to midwives and to doctors in Bohra-run hospitals. The Sayyidna, or high priest, refuses to engage. We tried to meet with his representatives but failed. An anonymous Bohra woman petitioned the Sayyidna in 2011 but drew a blank. Masuma, Arifa, Insia, and many others have put their names to an online petition that is gathering steam with over 40,000 signatures. In Mumbai, we met Nusrat Bharucha, prominent Bohra face and Bollywood actress who at first agreed to only a tape-recorded interview. Soon, however, we got a message from her saying she wants to be on camera along with her parents. Were you party to the decision to not have your daughter be put through the same practice?
I said, no way, I'm not insisting at all. Just let her grow naturally. There's no need to go through all that. Because it lingers on, it carries forward with a woman all throughout her life.
The fight against FGM is picking up slowly. A conviction in Australia in November, where a nurse and a mother are set to go to jail, has led to chatter within the community. A lot of women who still support the practice call the clitoral hood haram ki boti, or immoral lump of flesh. But listen to the brave women and you'll know it's about deceit and betrayal and a grave form of abuse on young, impressionable minds and bodies.